Good day and welcome to our level two for mindset and goals. I'm so excited. We are working on some good stuff. I want to give you some tools today, some things with a variety approach that you can go and work on. And these things are very unique to you. And so when we bring variety into our lives, things become a bit more unique. Now we've tried a bit of a harder reset to really start to show you things and you've seen things and now we need to figure out how can we navigate that, have some variety and learn how to engage in a plan and a process that we can enjoy a bit more and make this longer lasting as we move towards the autonomy of it. Okay. So for level two, we've got two sections. I'm going to keep it short and sweet, take you through the first one, and then we'll be going over a few questions at the end that we would really, really like you to go and spend some time on. And I'll record this. You we'll have access to this for a long time. So um, yeah, basically a variety approach to achievable goals. You've started, you know what the process looks like. Now there's some variety that needs to come into play to learn about how you can make your goals sustainably achievable, right? We've just basically opened up a new world to you and said, look, let's just reset. Let's start from the beginning. Um, you've seen kind of what's working already, what we need to go and work on even more. But now from here on out, like we need to start thinking about sustainability and there has to be some variety and some uniqueness to your approach, right? So we're going to start with um, truth versus truth. And this is to get you thinking a bit differently, right? So, looking at the plan and making adjustments to how you approach your goals based on what you've learned from your fears and how to navigate overthinking, distractions, and doubt. Okay. So, truth versus truth is something I've thought a lot about. And it's something I think you have to be able to spot in your own life. Okay. There's the truth that you need to adopt restriction, hard work, consistency to achieve your goals. But there's another truth that needs to be allowed to looked into. And this is the one that we tend to like to suppress and just, keep to the side. But the truth that the plan will help you see. And hopefully you've seen some stuff in the reset already. Um, but we're going to try and open you up to it even more. In all the difficulties you faced, hard choices, there's the truth that the reason you struggled was because you needed to avoid a bigger struggle. Okay. Avoid a harder choice or something unique to you that you know is holding you back from being able to make restriction, hard work, and consistency a part of who you are. Okay. There's something in the background that is the other truth. The truth is, okay, yeah, we need to be healthy. We need to, do all these things, and we get to work on these goals. But there's a truth in the back that is very unique to you and something that you've struggled with on your own. And you need to be able to start facing that truth. So these, however, are unique to you and needs to be looked at from your unique point of view. You have to experiment with ways that feel good to you, which is why we're in the variety, at a pace that feels good to you to learn and experience growth in both truths while learning how to enjoy the process more. So there's the one truth, let's get, hard work into this plan. Let's try and, you know, let's get some goals, okay? Um, but in the background, there's this very unknown experience we are living that is very hard to talk about, to really even understand, fully. And we just have to allow that truth to be worked on as well, to experience growth in that as well. So the goals and the health, but then also in the back, what's the biggest struggle and how can I also experience some growth there? And that has to come into a play if you're starting to incorporate variety into your life because the ways we cope with things are unique to us and we need to figure out ways that we can, um, experience things that work for us, right? Things that work for me might not work for you. Okay. So enjoying the process as well is the goal, and we want to work towards that as well. So you have to face the truth that you need to train hard and the truth you haven't been able to train hard because, for example, you've adopted a habit of being lazy and it helps you cope with your self-doubt and your abilities, or that you just don't know how to do it. Okay. And the pressure you place on yourself needs to take into account all your expectations of why you're doing this in the first place. I'm going to read that again. You have to face the truth that you need to train hard and the truth that you haven't been able to train hard because, for example, you've adopted a habit of being lazy because it helps you cope with your self-doubt and your abilities, or that you just don't know how to do it. If there's something that we struggle with, it doesn't mean that that is who you are, right? If you haven't been able to figure this out, it doesn't mean, oh, well, you are a person who is not healthy and does not know how to be healthy, or you are lazy, like that's not who you are. But there are parts of your thoughts and patterns that keep taking you back there. And it's important to see these things, see that as there's truth in it. But once you start seeing it more and more, there's ways that you can become aware of it, work with it, and allow some space for that to just be there and accept that that's going to be one of your struggles you're working on as well. And it's going to take time. But the more you experience growth in that, you open up so much of who you are to yourself, and you really, really experience a lot of enjoyment when you start accepting these parts of yourself and not labeling yourself as lazy, for example. And the pressure you place on yourself, this is huge, right? We like to place pressure on ourselves. I need to lose the weight. I need this. I need to do this. Like, no, you don't. You don't need to do anything. You are here in this plan and you get to try and engage in the process to reach some goals, to be healthier, and for once and for all, to work on yourself, right? So all this pressure you place on yourself, up until this point, it hasn't gotten you very far. So we might as well think about it a bit differently. So the pressure you place on yourself needs to take into account all of your expectations of why you're doing this in the first place. Why are you doing this? If you can take into account all of the reasons behind why you are here, you can then start to allocate the pressure in a loving and like productive way, right? Instead of in your head constantly saying, I need, I need, I need, just be like, well, I don't need to do anything. But if I'm going to put pressure on myself, I might as well just lean into the truth of, okay, why am I here? What am I doing this for? And remind yourself of that. And then use the variety to help you see what things are more important for you to work on, to see the most meaningful change based on how you've experienced the reset and what you've learned about your initial expectations versus where you think you are headed now. So you've kind of experienced a bit of resistance, you've gone through the reset, and now it's important to use this variety to help you see what things are more important for you to work on, right? For some people, the nutrition was easy. The sleep and the training or something else might have been so difficult and reduced any rate of progress, right? So what's the thing for you? Okay, and how are we going to allocate more time and effort into the thing that's more important for you, right? And because ideally we want to see meaningful change, and it's only going to happen when you bring all of the weaknesses a little bit up. Okay, we can't just have the ability to be very good at the gym, but then nutrition and sleep, for example, are horrendous. It's not going to help us, right? So use the variety to help you see what are the things that are more important for you to see the most meaningful change, and also based on how you've experienced the reset, not based on the story you've always told yourself. Engage in the plan and the process of, okay, this has been hard. You've got a book. Okay, you've written down things. You've got your habits. You can see there's something that's hard for you. How are we going to try and incorporate variety so that we can work on these things to see meaningful change? Okay. And so you've had your initial expectations, and now you need to figure out, okay, where do I think I'm headed now? And this is an interesting little transition, right? It's like I've had these expectations, they probably haven't been met, and you have seen some progress, but now we need to figure out, okay, where are we headed? Generally, the one thing that you know you're struggling with the most still, and the research should have highlighted that for you. So when we have prioritized the metrics over the true goal, okay, and the true goal, which was always just living a life that you're proud of, being healthy, you know, liking the life that you are engaging with every day and the lifestyle you are trying to create for yourself, for your family, and being healthy so that you can impact the world around you and the people you love in the way you want to, right? And in turn, living a life that you're proud of, right? You're not really here to just lose the weight and all of a sudden life's just going to be great, right? So when we have prioritized the metrics over the true goal, okay, which was always living a life that I'm proud of and one that creates health and resilience, we realize that we are avoiding a different feeling and in turn avoiding a harder pain all along. That's our second truth. And then we adopt metrics as our goals over effort and persistence instead of being proud of growth and liking myself more. Now, where I'm trying to take you with this is to think about, well, if I just keep hyper fixating on all the metrics every day, steps, this, that, training, like these are not the goals. These are part of a bigger plan that's going to help you head in the direction of your goals, and they will help you get towards the goal. You'll never reach the goal you set because the goal you set came from a one-dimensional mindset. But you're going to hit something that's even better, right? But the metrics can't be the goals. And once you start looking at those and seeing those as failure in the goal, you've created the metrics to be the goal, which we don't want to do. If you can look at all the metrics and see where you are headed, and then take that as information to figure out how you need to structure things differently, and then learn from the metrics that follow, right? That is why we have the metrics in place. Two things. Number one, the metrics show you whether you are active, whether you are getting good sleep, whether you are in a calorie deficit, whether you are building muscle, whether you are fueled enough, whether you, all these things like supplements, all these things, these are not goals. These are things that show you if you are heading in a direction towards the goal that you've set. But we can't make these the goals, okay? These are things we need to learn from. If we make them the goal, we'll see all of them as failure because we're never hitting all of them. And then in turn, thinking we're failing the whole process. No, they're just telling you stuff. They're just like giving you information, which is amazing. Let's learn from it. And let's try and figure out how we can actually focus on adopting a metric of effort, persistence, and being proud of the growth. And then you in turn like yourself more, right? If I can look at all my habits and I can see, okay, well, this is how long I've tried and tried and tried, and this is where I've tried something new, and oh, this worked, and then I tried that again, and then you keep incorporating new things, and over time I realize, well, I have seen incredible results, and I've hit half of the metrics. I promise you, I have not done as good as I wanted to, but I've still seen more progress toward my goal than I have without any metrics, or when I have actually looked at the metrics as the goal. Okay. And so in turn, I can see persistence, I can see effort, I can see I've put in the work. And the things that I haven't been able to do, I didn't have access to yet with the knowledge that I had and the skills that I had. But I see through the metrics that there are things that I lack and I can then go and learn those skills, right? And so ask yourself these three questions, please. Answer them from your heart, not your negative mindset, your negative self-talk. Okay. Firstly, what have I learned about myself and my life in a way that patience can allow for both hard work and acceptance of things that are uniquely hard for me, and allow for variety in my life with how I track certain metrics and learn from metrics instead of seeing them as a metric of your entire self-worth. Secondly, where can I ask for feedback about things that I've struggled with in the reset? And how will I try to see the feedback as an opportunity to learn about my traits and patterns instead of an attack on my self-worth? Okay, we tend to think in ways that have us think we know what to do. If we see the plan, just go and do the plan. And sometimes it just doesn't work out. And then we create stories in our head as to why we can't do it. And oh yeah, well, we just need to start doing it. But if you open yourself up to getting some good feedback on certain things and be honest about it and just be like, hey, I can't do this diet thing the way it's set out for some reason. I don't know what it is. Or listen, this training, I just, for some reason, I can't get to the gym. Don't know what to tell you, but this is where I am. Like there's literally no shame in admitting these things, and we can actually open up some things to you so you can see things differently. But we generally don't open up in these ways because that ego is it's not a big fan of that, right? So again, read that, go and answer it. Okay. Variety breeds uncertainty. This is very important. Life is variable, so life is uncertain. How can I navigate my lifestyle in a way that I can give up a little bit more of the need to be certain of the path ahead and focus on trying different things without the need for it to go in any certain way other than teach me more about myself? I'm going to leave it there. Please go and answer these things. And after the mindset section, you can follow our steps through and what you can go and share with your experience. But please go and put in the work. It's one of those things where without that, you're just going to fall back into the same loop. Okay. We are very proud of everyone with how far we've gotten so far and excited for the rest. And yeah, I'm very excited to hear a bit of the feedback from this. But like I said, go through this, put in a bit of work, answer these three things. You can come back to it if you need to, and let us know how you get on. But yeah, apart from that, I hope you're having a beautiful day or evening or morning or whatever, and we'll catch up soon.